Welcome, everyone. We're glad that you could join us this evening for our program, Ancestry 101. We're going to have Zach Baker, who is our Kansas Room librarian, lead us through how to start your genealogy search using the Library Edition of Ancestry. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cindy McGuire, and I'm the Programming and Marketing Coordinator for the library. And again, we're glad that you took some time this evening to join us. And now I will turn it over to Zach.
Good evening, everybody. As Cindy said, I am Zach Baker. Some of you know me. Some of you are veterans of my programs before. For those who don't, I am the Kansas Room Coordinator at the Leavenworth Public Library. I've been in that job over 6 years now, hard as it is to believe. So this is Genealogy 101. This is going to be pretty basic genealogy. I'm going to teach you how to use our Ancestry Library Edition that you can access at the library. And I'm also going to talk about what resources we have at the library in the Kansas Room for genealogy research, history research, things of that nature. And then I'm going to open it up for questions and answers. So I am going to mute my video so you can't see me while I'm doing the PowerPoint presentation, but I will turn it back on when we get to the question and answer period. And also bear with me, I've never done a presentation in Zoom before. So if anything goes wrong, I do apologize, but hopefully we get it taken care of. So.
Okay. Zach, I forgot to say,
yes, ma'am.
if you have a question while Zach is talking, go ahead and put it in the chat, and then we will address the questions during the Q&A period. If it's something that's really urgent that he's talking about, I'll go ahead and interrupt him and ask the question for you. So go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. All righty, folks. So first thing I'm going to start with is the basic, getting started. So when you're doing genealogy research, you need to decide where to start. I normally recommend a family member, obviously a parent, decide which side of the family you want to start with and go from there. Gather and organize all of the information that you currently have about that person or that family. If possible, if you have any older family members that are still living, go ahead and interview them, because they are always going to be your best resource when you're starting your research of your family tree. My grandmother got me started into our genealogy research, and I learned so many things from her, and she ended up passing away last year, and there's still so much I wish I would have asked her. So if you still have somebody that you can take advantage of for that type of information, I really recommend it. It is a wonderful resource. And even if you don't have a lot of information, don't panic. Sometimes even a little bit can help. You know, it's kind of like a seed. It can make it grow, hopefully. So, general tips for beginners. I know most of you in here are probably not beginners, but decide which side of the family you wish to start with. As I said, organize the information you do have. Sketch out a rough family tree. Now, if you use a program like Ancestry, obviously Family Tree Maker, some of those have built-in family trees that you can build on, which are awesome. But if not, just take out a pencil and pen and just kind of sketch out a family tree. There are also some places online where you can print out starter family trees that you can fill out yourself. Don't try to trace your family back to the beginning right away. Some people like to just try and see how far back they can go. I was guilty of that when I first started. You were going to run into so many roadblocks if you don't know what you were doing, like I did. I did not know, like I said, when I started, and got lost very quickly. Use any resources you have available to you. Now that the library is back open for patrons, you are welcome to come into the Kansas Room. Take advantage of me, take advantage of what we have there. Reach out to the local historical societies if you wish. So things of that nature. And don't get discouraged. A lot of people, they get started and they're rolling along and then they hit a brick wall and they just quit. Please don't do that, because it is so worth it if you continue to get through that and find out. You will thank yourself later. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is Ancestry Library Edition. Now, at the moment, you can't get on the library computers. We are working on hopefully getting those up at some point. However, we are hoping here within the next couple of weeks to have access from home for you to get Ancestry Library Edition free through the library. Like, that's not rolled out yet, but we are hoping very, very soon that that will be. And when it is, we will contact you and let you know what the process is to get on. So I'm going to walk you through it. Short demonstration. Okay. So if you were in the library and were able to use our computers, you would go to our website, leavenworthpubliclibrary.org, and this is the page that's going to pop up. You're going to go to Explore Topic right here, and it'll show this drop-down menu, and you're going to go to Genealogy and History. And this will be the next page that'll pop up. There is a little picture up at the top here that I cut off, but Ancestry is at the very top. Now, this website is also great because we have other resources. We have the digital Kansas Sanborn maps, which are in fire insurance maps, available. Family Tree Magazine's free resources. That would include some of the like Family Tree printouts that you can use. Fold 3 and Gale Genealogy Collect. Those are needed. Those are also library use only. We need the Kansas State Library card to use those, which you can get at the library. You can access those. Freedmen's Bureau Project, there's a lot of great, and our digital newspaper access is on that website. So, but today we're here to talk about the Ancestry Library Edition. So once you click that link, this is what your landing page is. And obviously, it gives you the search census, search vital records, search military, search immigration. That kind of where it narrows it down. But I recommend most people just hit the big green begin searching button, which is going to land you here. Now, originally, you won't see all these. You have to click show options, more options. But this is going to get you started. And as you can see, there's a lot of information you can enter. The more that you can enter, the better. It will be more helpful. You can also decide to go through special collections this way and just choose like birth and marriage, death, census records, immigration, travel this way as well. It's their digital card catalog. Now, there are a few key differences and features. If some of you are Ancestry subscribers, you will notice this. For those of you that are not, I'm going to walk through them. Ancestry Library is used for the general public. So obviously, you're not going to get some of the more personalized features of the 4Pay Ancestry. There are a couple tabs, which I will show you in just a moment. You can't make a family tree in Ancestry Library Edition. You can't get help from other Ancestry members in the Library Edition, and you can't obviously do DNA testing through the Library Edition because you don't want everybody to have that information. So I'm going back. This is what the Library Edition landing page looks like, and you'll see up here, search, message board, etc. Those are all the things that you can do. And you'll notice it says Ancestry Library here. And when you log in through our library, it's going to say Leavenworth Public Library. Now, if you were an Ancestry subscriber like I am, you can see it has the trees tab, it has the search tab, it has the DNA, hire an expert over here. These are Ancestry hints for your tree. When you put in information, Ancestry will try and match to other members' trees or records in the system. Mail, where you can talk to other Ancestry members. I have not done the Ancestry DNA yet, but those would show up here. This is who I'm working on in my family tree at the moment. So it kind of is obviously more personalized to you. Some of the other resources not available are the historical newspaper collection, but like I said, we have a different way to access that. So you would have to not do it through Ancestry, but we have historical newspapers through newspapers.com that you can access through the library. Then Ancestry's family and local history collection, their obit collection, passenger and immigration list index, their biography, genealogy, master index, those are like ebooks, and then their Freedman Spank records, which is another one that we can access through the library elsewhere other than Ancestry. So we have that covered. All right, then Kansas Room and Library Resources. Kansas Room and Library Resources, you have me. I try and be as helpful as I can be. We also have obituaries in bound books from 1959 to 2016 right now. Any other obituaries, we can just pull the microfilm and try and find them that way. We have birth and death records on microfilm, cemetery records, city directories from 1859 to present. There are a few years missing during World War II, especially. There's a big gap in the 40s, unfortunately. We have deeds records, family histories that people have given us that are bound, funeral home records, marriage records, and court records. Those are on microfilm. Our marriage records are indexed now from, I think they start in the 1850s and they go up to 1922 for our index. Court records are not yet. Those are on the works. We have Sanborn insurance maps on microfilm for Leavenworth. Naturalization records on microfilm. Books, history books about Leavenworth, some general history of the West and transportation, church histories, stuff like that that would help some people in their search. Leavenworth and Fort Leavenworth phone books. The Fort Leavenworth phone books actually go, we have some from the 1930s, which is pretty cool. Maps and plat books. We have, goodness, 9 drawers full of maps of either Leavenworth, Fort Leavenworth, or Kansas. We have oral history tapes, histories on cassettes, tapes. A lot of those, thanks to a very nice volunteer, have been moved over to CD. Our photograph collection has over 40,000 photos. Most of them are in binders that you can take a look at. Anything that isn't, I can pull it out so you can take a look at it. A lot of people like to look at those. Our vertical files have general information about Leavenworth, Fort Leavenworth, the prisons. I have some new records in there that are a lot of prison records, well, not records, but information about the prison and stuff, if anybody's interested in that. And Leavenworth High yearbooks. Now, I have a lot of people that ask me if I have any of the other schools other than Leavenworth High. I have a few of Lansing High and IMAC. I don't have any of the lower, like elementary, middle schools, unfortunately. And I don't have very many of Lansing High or IMAC. Now, resources through the library, Ancestry Library Edition. Like I said, right now it is library use only, but we are hoping that we can get a home version of that for you quickly. We are working on it, and we hope to have that coming live in the next couple weeks. I can't promise anything, but that is the goal. Digital Kansas Sanborn Maps is provided by the University of Kansas Libraries. And then if you get a State Library of Kansas e-card from our reference staff, you get access to the Gale Genealogy Connect. I'm sorry, I cannot talk tonight. Which is, as you can see, a collection of nearly 600 research and reference publications in searchable PDF format. The History Reference Center is full text from 1,620 reference books and encyclopedias, periodicals, historical documents, biographies. It's pretty cool. And then Kansas Historical Newspapers, I meant to update that. You no longer require a Kansas ID. They used to want to verify that you were a Kansas resident, so you had to have a photo ID and put in that number. That is no longer the case. You can get to that anywhere. You don't have to be a Kansas resident to access those anymore. So that's really nice as well. All right, and that is all for this part of the presentation. My favorite part now is the Q&A, because I like to hear from everybody. Excuse me. So I am going to open it up for questions. Hi again. And Cindy, are we doing this through chat or?
They can unmute themselves if they want to just ask you a question.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Jim Bird.
Yeah, Miss Bird.
Sorry I wasn't able to get the camera to work here, but I can see you, and I
Okay.
can see all the graphics and everything. So good presentation. Haven't got any questions. Just wanted you to know that I was here and that I'm participating.
All righty, sir. Good to know.
A lot.
Zach, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What if you know the name of the person, but you have no idea when they came to this country, or really all you have is their name? How do you start searching for that?
Okay, so the name alone is a little difficult, unless it's a unique name. Normally, so you don't have a date of birth, I mean, not a date of birth, like a death date or anything like that?
Yeah, I might have a death date, but I don't have a birth date. And I know what country they came from, but I have no idea when they immigrated here.
Okay.
Or what city they lived in.
Country's good. Rough death date would be helpful. But a time period, do you know roughly when they were here?
Like in the early 1900s.
Okay. I mean,
that's all I would know.
That's a good starting point. That way it can narrow it down, and we're not trying to search through, hundreds of years worth of stuff. So we would just start with the name, and general dates is what I would recommend. Sometime, I would say 1900 to 1910, start there, personally.
Well, and I do know the city where they died, so that
okay, and that would be helpful too.
Right.
Let me go back to that one slide here. So like in Ancestry, it asks you for this type of information. And you can add event death. And so if you know when they died, that's really helpful. Birth year, this little calculator here, you can put within, I think it goes up to plus or minus 15 years. So you could put 1900 and then add till it look between 1885 and 1915, basically. You know where they died, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so I would put that as a place they might have lived, plus their name.
Okay.
Anyone else? Sorry.
Hey, Zach, it's Ruby.
Hey, Ruby.
Hi. And so all of these records, or most of these records that are available in the Kansas Room, are relating to Kansas, correct?
Yes, most of them are Leavenworth County. Some are a little broader. But yeah, I don't have like national records. Now, if you want those, there is close by, thankfully, in Independence, there is the Independence Genealogy Center, Midwest Genealogy Center, I'm sorry. that have more national records. And I haven't been there myself, and I really should, considering how long I've been in this job, but I've heard that they have a great staff that are very helpful. So I would recommend giving them a try if you're looking outside of Kansas and Leavenworth specifically.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we've been, Jim and I've been there, but it's, it's probably been 5 or better years ago. Yeah.
I know, and
We were over there, so.
it's close-ish, and I don't know why I've never made it over there. So,
Okay.
so, and unfortunately with the COVID and stuff, some of I've been working on trying to get some of the newer obituaries bound and stuff, but it's kind of been iced since COVID because I haven't had volunteers that have been able to come in. So that's kind of put us on hold, but I always recommend that you take advantage of our resources.
Okay. Well, thank you much. I'm going to
Thank
mute
you.
myself.
Any other questions?
Hey, Zach,
Yes, sir.
yeah, just a comment. I think back there in the Kansas room,
Mm-hmm.
where you've got bound volumes of family history stuff
Yes.
in that one aisle, I think you might have some of the census records that were bound a long time ago, the national census records.
Yes, I do have some.
1860 on back, for example.
Yes, I have the
1890.
Leavenworth City census from 1855. I don't have all of Kansas.
Yeah.
But I do have 1860 bound just for the state. And there's an 1880, and I think there's the 1900. I need to recheck.
Mm-hmm.
So those are bound as well. And I do have some of the death records bound from 1891 to 1911 and birth records. Those are the only ones that I have. Anything before 1891 or after 1911, you have to go to City Hall for, unfortunately. But
Yeah, I was thinking that on some of the national records for all the states, I thought you had a few bound volumes of those, like the 1850s or the first census, for example, 1790. I think they put all that in one bound volume.
Oh, yes, you're talking. Yes, I do have that in
Okay.
that aisle. Yes, sir.
And I think that you have them going up maybe to 1850 or 1860 for that stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I was thinking state, not federal. I don't know what I was.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. It's Ruby again. Back to Cindy's question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if she knows the mother or a spouse or a child, that would all be stuff that she could put in that would make the search broader.
Correct. Oh, and yes, to go back to that, sometimes if you know their maiden name, if it's the female that's married, putting that in as well, like do a search for the married name, but then do a search for the maiden name, because sometimes Ancestry will not spit out everything under a marriage. Like my grandmother was married twice. So sometimes for her records, I need to search her maiden name and then both married names because they won't show up unless I have that specific last name.
Okay, and with Ancestry, I have also discovered, actually not Ancestry specifically, but researching census records is, if I can't find the parents, then I look for one of the kids, because
Yes.
sometimes the kids will pop up and then you'll have, oh, well, there are the parents, but
Yes.
the parent didn't show up originally. So yeah, just any information you have to finagle your way in.
And unfortunately, a lot of those, especially since we're talking early 1900s, anything handwritten or sometimes if they're being transcribed into text, somebody might make a mistake. And then the census takers were not always the most careful of people. They wouldn't always try and spell the names right, or they take their best shot at it and they could be way off, which kind of makes things difficult. So I always recommend trying some variations on spellings. Like my last name is Baker. Some of my family, they mark down as Barker or Baxter. I'm not sure how they got Baxter, but so just try and finagle the names a little.
Well, yeah, speaking of names being misspelled, in Texas, near the Dallas Fort Worth, and I can't remember, 1880, something like that. The last name is Helmstetler, and this person is listed in the census record as Helen Snitner.
Yes. Yeah, they could take really long last names and make them two names. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always that issue. And self-reporting. People, the census taker will come to a house and they'll ask who's home. And sometimes the people that they talk to would literally take that literally and just tell you who was there at the time. So there might be a neighbor kid over there and they would say this person's here, and they might list a neighbor kid as a child of theirs in the census. So kind of pay attention to that as well.
Okay, well, I don't think I have any more comments, Zach. So
All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your help.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Enjoyed it, Zach. Good presentation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Yeah, Zach, Keith Hustings. On the slide that you have up on the screen right now, over on the right-hand side, it mentions under census and voter lists, UK Census collection.
Yes.
So just to verify, is that something that I can access, hopefully at home, within a couple of weeks or whatever? That I could actually access that through this particular program?
Yes, you should be able to. It's UK and Canada are the two international ones that are included with the Ancestry Library Edition.
Do you happen to know how far back that goes?
Oh, I don't off the top of my head, unfortunately, and since I'm home, I can't pull it up.
There was I heard that there was a 1911 edition that was made public some years ago, and the last time I looked into it, it required a subscription, and I never did follow it up. So if I could access this for free, that would definitely be of interest.
Yes, and I think I do remember the 1911 being added to this. I need to double check. And Mr. Hustings, you gave an email to Cindy when you signed up, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, let me check on that, and I will shoot you an email tomorrow, okay?
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to keep in mind whenever you make one of these searches is that you kind of want to be prepared to be an information overload, because you'll type in the name of an ancestor, and over on the right-hand side of the screen, it's been my experience, you'll get a whole catalog listing. And
yes,
sometimes, the guy that you're after might show up immediately, but you're going to get everything in the world besides that.
Yes, when you're on this page that you're looking at, that I'm looking at right now, that I have up on your screen, when you search this, it's going to search all of these things on the right-hand column, these special collections. So all these birth, marriage, and deaths, the census and voter list, it's going to search all of that at once. So yes, Mr. Bird is right. You are going to get a lot of information at first. Now, if you're just looking for a birth or marriage or something, then I would recommend just going straight to that record. But if you're just looking, I still recommend doing the general search. I mean, you're going to get a lot of information that might be overwhelming, but it's going to search everything. So hopefully you don't overlook anything as well. So.
Well, once it gives you that whole list, you can go ahead and weed it down.
Correct. And narrow it down.
Well, if someone that you know that is maybe part of your family that you see on that list, all you do is click it. And
yes.
Then it'll start bubbling up information that might be of interest to you. That's
yes.
more specific.
Okay. Is there a way you can look at a county record without doing a specific search for a person? I mean, I know somebody, I can't remember now what county, what state, but I know they were there. Is there any way I can start at the beginning of that census and just go through it like it were microfilm?
Yes. If you click on, well, now I'm thinking, it's been a while. I know there is a way to do it. I believe if we go, yes, if you click on that in the right hand over here where it says U.S. Federal Census Collection, it will bring up, it will start with a search, but if you scroll down, it will say included data collections, and then it has the 1790 U.S. Federal Census, etc. If you just click on that, then it will, well, it used to. Oh, yes. And then it'll be on the right-hand side. You can choose state, county, and township. And then it will bring it up like microfilm.
Okay, so I just go to the U.S. Federal Census, scroll down, and then there's a place down there where I can select just to look at the census record.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they make you jump through a bunch of hoops to get to it, but to get to it that way, unfortunately, because I think they're being helpful by doing the name search before everything else, but.
Yeah, but when you don't find it on the name search and you're just about positive they're there.
Yeah. And like I said, that will happen a lot because either the people that are working for Ancestry or volunteering for Ancestry and putting it in their database didn't read the handwriting correctly or accidentally misspelled the name, or the census taker during the census misspelled the name, and you know your spelling is correct or think your spelling is correct and it's just not matching. That's probably why.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Anyone else?
Well, if no one else has any other questions right now, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you think of something later on, you can either email Zach directly, which is what's the
my email is kansasrm at, no, it's not. It's ksroom, sorry, at lvplks.org. And I can put that in the text chat too.
Yeah. And as Zach said, as soon as we know that people can access Ancestry from home, I can send everyone an email. And I am working on another genealogy program, which we will probably do in May. And it is most likely going to be on DNA testing. So I watch for that information, which will probably be out sometime in April. And if no one else has any other questions.
Cindy, you might tell them about the genealogy newsletter too.
Oh, yes. We do have a genealogy newsletter, and we try to put that out quarterly. If you are not signed up for that, you can send me an email and I can add you to the list. My email is cmaguire@lvplks.org. And I will add you to that. And then we also, if you want to sign up for our library newsletter and you're not signed up for that, let me know too, because I do put our program information in our general library newsletter as well.
And one more question for me, Cindy. How can patrons access the recording?
Okay, yes. Tomorrow I will be adding this recording to our archive, and you can access it on our website. There's a box in the middle of our homepage that says online programs. You click on that, and then there'll be a link to programs for adults, and it will be on that programs for adults page.
Okay, I do have one other thing.
Yes, sir. Ma'am. All right.
Yeah, that's okay. RootsTech is taking place right now. It's a virtual genealogical resource.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And it's free. You don't thousands, hundreds of classes anyway that you can look at, and there's no charge this year because it's just totally virtual.
It's totally virtual, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's through Saturday.
And you can just Google RootsTech to get there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, yes, I would recommend looking into that. I plan on looking into some of that myself.
So.
Yeah. Hey, Cindy.
Yes.
I am sitting here looking at a flyer put out by the Leavenworth Public Library for a genealogy workshop that I think was held probably back in 2019, August the 8th. And the presenter was a Kathleen Brandt.
Yes.
Yes.
It was about DNA genealogy, and I've been kicking myself because I missed that. You know, my lobotomy kicked in, so I just forgot all about it, and then realized about a day or two after the time was passed that I had missed it. So if that person is on the list to come back again, I would be very excited about that.
Well, she was excellent.
She was.
She was very excellent. But the one that I'm planning for this next time is going to be somebody different.
Okay.
If this person is available. If they aren't, I will contact her again because she is really, really good and she does a great job. And the patron, everybody we've had her, I think 2 or 3 times. And
yes.
She's done different things and people really like her.
Yeah,
but
she's very fun.
Yeah. I was going to try a new person this next time just to, see what their take on it was.
Mm-hmm.
But if that person's not available, I will contact her again.
Well, if it would be okay, if you have an email address or something, I might offline on another occasion get with you and try to get that person's email address from you, or I'll give you my email address and ask her to contact me because I think she specializes in Black genealogy.
Yes, she does.
One time, just per chance, doing some research on another subject, I ran across some stuff that I think might be relevant to that. So
very cool.
We can talk offline about that another time.
Okay, and who is this? Jim that's talking?
This is Jim. Yeah, Jim
okay.
Bird.
Okay.
Thanks, Cindy.
Okay.
Is there any possibility the program that Jim was talking about is recorded?
No.
Not ours.
Yeah, and she actually doesn't allow us to record
Okay.
her programs. I asked her that when she was here the last time.
Okay.
So she won't allow that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to
No
establish email contact with her, to sort of explain to her what I had and see if she would be interested in talking to me about that.
Okay, well, I can send you her contact information tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
All righty, everybody. Well, thank you for coming out, I guess. Didn't really have to come out. That's kind of nice. It's nice being home. But it was nice to see everybody. I hope everybody made it through this craziness unscathed. And I do appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, Zach.
No problem.
Yeah, Zach and Cindy, thanks a lot. We appreciate it once again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you from us too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.